Revealed, 144,000 chosen ones will experience divine transformation on 3rd and October 4th. Get ready. In the quaint village of St. Mary's Hollow, a divine whisper echoed through the cobblestone streets. It was the kind of news that tingled on the back of your neck of prophecy, drifting through the air like the sweet scent of wildflowers mingling with the autumn breeze. The 144,000 chosen will rise. The words cascaded like a refreshing waterfall, stirring hearts with both fear and fervor. Father Michael, the beloved pastor, stood at the helm of this devoted congregation each Sunday, his voice like a warm embrace. On a chilly evening, the brownstone church sparked to life as villagers gathered, each face glimmering with hope. Mary, a humble mother whose heart was heavy with worries for her ailing son, sat silently, caught in her own storm of despair. Her eyes glistened as she held onto the news, praying it might hold the answer she desperately sought. As candles flickered and prayers rose, Mary joined her family in a meeting filled with trembling whispers of faith. Suddenly, like a lightning bolt slicing through the night, a voice reverberated in her heart: the 144,000 chosen will rise. The declaration pierced her sorrow and sent a ripple of electric anticipation through the room. Could it be? Hope ignited like kindling in her soul. "Did you hear that?" gasped Rachel, the widow from down the lane. "It's a sign." Murmurs filled the air, igniting a fervor among the faithful. They envisioned a miraculous transformation, reflected glories surging from heavens above. In the weeks leading to the pivotal date, whispers of the supernatural began to spread. Strange lights twinkled in the night sky, and villagers spoke in hushed tones of unexplainable healings and sudden inspirations. Just as the atmosphere thickened with possibilities, the village doctor delivered shattering news: Mary's son was beyond hope. It was a death knell muffled by the prayers of the faithful, clashing with a tide of skepticism. The doctors can't understand God's plan, Mary reminded herself, clutching a worn cross, her dependence on faith battling against the fading spark of reason. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. The frosty nights leading to October 3rd bristled with an electric anticipation. Village meetings brimmed with discussions on what the prophecy truly meant. A woman on the edge of the crowd gasped when she claimed her tears had turned to stars in the moonlight. Could they be witnesses to the divine? As the community gathered in prayer, Mary clenched the prophecy close, but an uncertainty gnawed at her. What if the chosen were not who she hoped? What if her son was lost forever? And then, against all odds, hope blossomed. As the sun cast its golden rays on the eve of the sacred dates, Mary's son stirred, his frail form suddenly vibrant with life. Joy erupted amongst the villagers, hands lifted high and voices melded into a glorious chorus of praise. But as they celebrated, an unyielding question nagged at Mary: who truly were these 144,000? As the clock chimed midnight, the church doors swung open with a loud bang, unleashing a gust of heavenly wind. The villagers looked on, breathless with awe, as a divine presence filled the air around them. What would this transformation mean for their lives? That chilling gust of wind sent shivers down the spines of every villager, igniting a passion in their hearts. It felt as if the universe itself had opened up to breathe in their collective hope. Mary stood at the forefront of the throng, her heart racing, eyes searching the shadows for a sign. The air was thick with expectation. What was to unfold in those sacred hours? Father Michael stepped forward, his presence commanding yet gentle. The flickering candles cast dancing shadows on his face, illuminating the depth of his conviction. "Beloved friends," he began, his voice steady, "this is not merely a rendezvous with destiny. It is a divine transformation that awaits us all. His words resonated like a sacred hymn, drawing the congregation into a unified heartbeat of faith. Mary clutched her cross tightly, an anchor in the sea of uncertainty. She felt every heartbeat echo in tandem with her son S, who sat beside her, visibly rejuvenated yet still fragile. "If he can come back to us," she murmured, "then surely these chosen ones can rise." But a flicker of doubt crept in. What if she was not meant to be part of this transformation? As night deepened, villagers began to share personal revelations, each more extraordinary than the last. Samuel, the baker, spoke of a dream where angels filled his bakery with golden light. "They told me we will feast like royalty," he exclaimed, face alive with joy. The crowd erupted in applause, laughter mingling with prayer as the promise of blessings cascaded down upon them. But in the midst of shared joy, Mary's heart remained heavy. She had prayed for healing. She had grasped the thread of hope, yet a question lingered like a stubborn fog. Who among them were the chosen? Could it be that the splendor of God's grace would pass her family by? Suddenly, a sacred hush fell over the gathering. A luminous figure emerged from within the church, shrouded in light, draped in a gown that shimmered with the hues of dawn. Gasps echoed as villagers fell to their knees. "I am a messenger," the radiant being proclaimed, voice like a soothing balm. "Tonight, every soul present shall feel the warmth of my light." Mary felt her spirit lift. This was more than an angelic appearance. It was a call to embrace the divine within. A warmth enveloped her, and she glimpsed radiant smiles around her. Each villager was transformed in that moment, a flicker of divine recognition sparking within each heart. "What does it mean?" someone whispered, trembling. "It means we are all called," shouted Rachel, her eyes bright with fervor. "It is not just for the privileged, but for each of us to awaken the divine within." Mary's heart raced, her son's laughter bubbled up like a brook, flowing freely with joy and life. She sensed a shift taking place, not just in her son, but in the essence of her very being. A spark, a belonging ignited within her. She could feel the pulse of the divine calling to her, asking her to embrace her part in this great tapestry of existence. As the night deepened, the air stirred with hope mingling with the divine promise. Mary stood together with the congregation, each discovering the boundless love of the Almighty manifest in their spirits. Then suddenly, faint glimmers appeared above, like stars igniting the night sky. But as their eyes sparkled with wonder, an unsettling thought crossed Mary's mind. "What next?" she whispered inwardly. The night was alive with blessings, but she couldn't shake the feeling that the true test was yet to come. What awaited them in the dawn? Would they rise as the chosen, or would they falter under the weight of this newfound calling? And above it all, a soft yet powerful voice echoed in the depths of her heart. "Get ready for what is to come." As the luminous figure lingered in their midst, the stillness of the congregation deepened. Eyes closed in reverent awe, hearts opened wide in anticipation. This wasn't just a moment. It was a divine invitation to step into the promise of something magnificent. "Feel my light," the messenger continued, voice enveloping them like a warm embrace. "It is here for you all." In this communion, identify the whispers of the soul within. The brilliance surrounding her pulsed with each beat, casting shadows and illuminating corners of doubt that had long settled in their hearts. Mary, caught in this holy presence, began to sway gently with the energy surging around her. It flickered through her as laughter mingled with tears of hope, joy blending with the sweetness of divine love. Her worries about being excluded faded. Maybe, just maybe, she was meant to be a part of this tapestry after all. With a nod from Father Michael, the villagers began to move, drawn toward the radiant figure like moths to a flame. "Let us gather closer," he urged with a warmth that rekindled embers of faith. "Tonight, we will weave our stories into one magnificent prayer." Indeed, Mary whispered to herself, recalling the words she had one day spoken to her boy, We each have our own thread, a unique story, a precious purpose. There was purpose in her struggle, a thread in her prayer. The sky above them transformed, vibrant auroras dancing against the night, billowing waves of color flooding their vision. A symphony of whispers filled the air. Each villager felt seen, their aspirations embraced in the radiant glow. I have felt your doubts, your prayers, the messenger spoke again. But understand this truth. The true transformation starts from within. It ignites when you accept your divine nature. Explosions of light flickered in response. A chorus of affirmations echoed back from the villagers. Hearts thumped with rhythm, a sacred chant evolving in unity. We are called. We are chosen. Each voice was a climbing note, building to a crescendo of faith. The messenger looked upon them, eyes sparkling with timeless wisdom. Now is the hour to believe that hope is not vanity. Know that God will descend upon you in unfathomable ways. With belief, you will see. Eager now, Mary lifted her hands in act of opening. The weight that had burdened her lifted like mist beneath the sun. She let out a soft gasp, awash in warmth, as flickers of divine glory ebbed through her fingertips. There was a promise within her, a beautifully intertwined fate waiting to unfurl. But how would they know when the transformation had occurred? Would it be evident in their smiles, their laughter, or would it manifest as an inner peace that would steady their trembling hearts? As the night wore on and the assembly shared stories more fervent than before, Mary could feel the pulse of her faith quickening. Every person was an individual flame, and together they formed a bright and steadfast beacon. Yet just as the moment reached a tipping point, something shifted. The light dimmed for a heartbeat, and a shadow crossed the thin line, separating earthly troubles from heavenly grace. What trials awaited them come dawn? Would their hearts remain steadfast in faith, or would uncertainty cast its unwanted shadow in the light of their newfound blessings? The messenger's gentle voice broke through the reverie, leaving them with a final word that echoed in Mary's heart. Prepare yourselves for the heart of the matter. Tomorrow unfolds layers, yet unseen. A chill swept over the villagers as they sensed the challenge that lay ahead. Hope was stirring, yes, but so too was the uncertainty of the unknown. And in that sacred stillness, as the air crackled with possibility, one burning question lingered. Would they be ready for the transformation waiting at dawn? As the first light of dawn broke through the horizon, Mary awoke with a heart still fluttering from the night before. The warmth of anticipation enveloped her, yet a sense of unease tinged the air. She could still hear the messenger's voice echoing in her spirit, urging her to prepare for what lay ahead. Outside her window, the village stirred. Shadows danced across familiar paths as villagers exchanged quiet greetings and hopeful glances. Their hearts beat in unison, each pulse resonating with the promise of something greater. Mary stepped outside, her feet touching the dew-kissed ground, grounding her in hope. But was she ready? Could she accept the weight of what God was unfolding? Each villager moved with purpose, weaving toward the chapel, where whispers of excitement mingled with prayers. Father Michael greeted everyone at the chapel door, his face radiating tranquility. "Good morning, beloved," he began, his voice steady and reassuring. "Today, we will witness the manifestations of our faith. Are we not ready to see what God has in store?" A murmur rippled through the crowd, nods and whispers of agreement sparking like twinkling stars. They were ready, yet uncertainty lived in the hearts of many. Mary saw that reflected in their eyes. She yearned for assurance, for a tangible sign to quench her doubts. As they gathered inside, the atmosphere thickened with anticipation. The sun streamed through the stained glass, casting a cascade of colors upon the congregation, bathing them in a divine embrace. Each hue felt like a stroke of God's paintbrush, illuminating their unique stories and shared purpose. "Remember," Father Michael continued, "the transformation begins with each of us. Our faith, when revealed, becomes a powerful force." His gaze swept over the villagers, each one touched by the call of their individual threads in this woven tapestry of divine love. Mary closed her eyes, breathing deep, calling forth her courage. "Lord," she whispered in her heart, "I long to see your work in my life." She felt a gentle breath of wind cascade around her, lifting her spirit. Perhaps the answer lay not in grand gestures, but in the quiet assurance that swept through the faithful. Suddenly, a hush fell upon the room as the light flickered and intensified, drawing their focus to the front. The messenger emerged again, her brilliance more resplendent. "Beloved ones," she said, "the dawn has arrived. God's promise is not just for the few, but for all who dare to believe." Her voice, a melody, resonated throughout the chapel. You hold the key within you. Each shallow breath, each doubtful thought must be transformed into golden hope. Her words ignited the hearts, stirring a fire that had lain dormant for so long. A collective gasp filled the space as one by one, villagers began to speak. Each voice shared a truth, a testament to faith that brought tears to eyes and warmth to souls. They spoke of losses turned to blessings, of fear knit with faith, and of dreams that seemed impossible but were now stirring once more. Mary felt herself swell with emotion, seeing the light in her companions shine brighter with each story told. Gratitude flooded her heart for the community forming around her. No one was alone in their journey. Could this be what the messenger meant? She thought that our transformation rests in this unity and love. Then came a moment, a soft pulse amidst the storm of their fervor. The air thickened, as if holding its breath, and a tremor of energy coursed slowly through each villager. Mary felt it first in her fingertips, then a surge of warmth radiating through her chest. Her spirit soared, knowing they had tapped into something holy. But what would come next? Would this burst of collective faith mark the dawn of their transformation? Or was this just the beginning? The anticipation swelled, leaving questions unanswered. The messenger's smile hinted at mysteries yet to unfold. "Prepare your hearts," she proclaimed, "for today we unlock doors that have long been closed. You are not just witnesses, you are participants in this divine drama." And there it was again, the lingering question in everyone's heart. Would they be ready for what lay beyond those doors? As the messenger's words hung in the air, an electrifying pulse passed through Mary and the villagers. She felt every heartbeat synchronize into a divine rhythm, a collective awakening that seemed to reach out beyond the chapel walls. Excitement mixed with fear, yet hope illuminated the path before them. Father Michael stepped forward, his voice rising above the heartbeat of anticipation. "Beloved, we stand at the threshold of a miracle. Open your hearts and let your faith rise like incense to heaven. Today, we will witness the power of unity in the Spirit." The villagers stirred, looking at each other with new vigor. Faces once filled with doubt shone with the glow of possibility. Mary could hardly restrain her own excitement. The weight of uncertainty that had laced her thoughts began to dissipate like morning mist. Could they really unlock something so profound together? As Father Michael led them into worship, the music soared, wrapping around them like a warm embrace. The familiar hymns brought back memories of childhood, echoing her faith from long ago. Each note resonated with her spirit, stirring a sense of belonging deeper than words could express. She joined the chorus, her voice lifting like prayers ascending to the heavens. In that moment, Mary sensed something stirring beneath the surface, a vision breaking through the clouds of her doubt. Shimmers of light danced around the edges of her consciousness. What if their gathering held a divine secret waiting to be unveiled? What if they were indeed chosen to carry forth a greater mission? And then it happened. A brilliant light burst forth from the altar, radiating across the chapel, illuminating every corner, every heart. The messenger's form shimmered again, becoming almost translucent, as if she were merging with the light itself. "The time has come," she declared, her voice a symphony of grace and power. "You are being called to act, to share this transformative love with the world." The surge of energy licked at Mary's skin, pulling her forward. She felt the warmth of the flame of faith igniting her heart, accessible and beaming with potential. Each villager stood transfixed, their eyes wide, waiting for the next step, the next divine revelation. Open your minds to the visions God has placed in you, the messenger urged, her presence expanding within the chapel space. You will see what has not yet been seen. You will speak what has long been silenced. Your faith will create bridges of hope, joy, and love. Overwhelmed, Mary closed her eyes and surrendered to the tides of prayer and praise swelling around her. She envisioned the village, the community, and beyond hearts intertwined in purpose, dreams woven in divine fabric. Her spirit soared higher, sense quickening with possibilities. What should she do? Where would they begin? A voice broke through her thoughts, sharp and clear. But what if we fail? What if we're not enough? A soft whisper echoed in the space, voicing doubts not only felt by Mary but by many others. A wave of uncertainty rippled through the congregation, challenging the vibrant faith ignited moments before. Yet before fear could settle, the messenger placed a hand over her heart. You are never alone in your journey. Remember, God can use the weak to confound the mighty. Look around you. Each of you brings something essential to this table of grace. In that moment, a realization washed over Mary like waves against the shore. Faith was not the absence of fear, but the courage to step forward even with uncertainties in tow. She opened her eyes, meeting the gaze of her neighbors, their faces a mix of hope and trepidation. Are we ready then? Mary asked, her voice hardly above a whisper, yet pulsing with authority. As if in answer, the light brightened even more, bathing them in warmth. The messenger smiled knowingly. You'll find out soon enough. For beyond today, greater wonders await. Be prepared, for the journey is yours to unfold. What awaited them beyond this moment? What divine plans lingered in the shadows? Mary's heart raced with a mix of trepidation and excitement, ready to discover the path that lay ahead. Would they gather the courage to walk further into the mystery? The warmth enveloping the chapel felt alive, almost pulsing with the collective heartbeat of faith. Eyes widened in the growing brightness. A mingling of wonder and uncertainty danced among the villagers. Mary's heart swelled as the light enveloped her, filling her with hope and stirring echoes of past prayers. Look around you. The messenger's voice rang out, clear and commanding. Do not let doubt shadow your spirit. Each voice lifted in joy creates a symphony heard in the heavens. The miracles you seek begin with the faith you share. With each word, a spark ignited within Mary. Beside her, neighbors found comfort in the warmth. Their faces glowed with a shared determination. Memories flooded her mind, times when they had come together during trials, food shared in times of need, laughter echoing through the streets. All of those moments, seemingly small, now felt like the threads woven into a grand tapestry of purpose. As Father Michael gestured widely, urging everyone to join hands, Mary felt an urge to vocalize her thoughts. We are here, united in this moment. What do you want to see unfold? Her voice rang clear, and like a ripple in still water, it spread through the villagers. Inspiration, shouted one elder, her voice aged yet firm. Kindness, called a weary father, hope sparking in his eyes. A revival of faith, echoed another, raising her clasped hands high. As they exchanged ideas, the atmosphere thickened with supernatural energy. Words of compassion and vision became a prayer in itself. Each utterance became a step closer to a divine agreement among them. They would not let fear stifle the light blooming within. All voices matter, the messenger urged gently. Your varied dreams and aspirations create a greater plan. Stay open, allow your hearts to pulse together. You are part of something beyond yourselves. Mary felt her spirit soar. A wave of clarity washed over her. Their mission, whatever it may be, was to act in love even if each step taken was uncertain. She turned to face the wise eyes of her neighbors, the glimmers of belief shining bright. "Together, we are a force," she proclaimed, drawing strength from the shared commitment. "Let us focus on the good in our hearts and be open to the guidance that awaits." As their hands tightened around one another, the energy shifted, filling the room with a sweet, intoxicating fragrance that danced like wildflowers in the wind. Laughter and passion melded into an unstoppable current. Through the rising voices and unified breaths, the messenger stepped forward one more time. "Faith is the key in your hearts, hold it tightly," she declared, her voice resonating with a gentle authority. "Now, embark on a journey, one that requires you to transform fears into hope, pain into love. The divine waits for you." Mary took a deep breath and turned her eyes toward the altar. Vibrations tingled along her skin. She could see the shimmer of possibility hanging in the air. The village prepared to step into the unknown. The very essence of faith felt heavy and bright, all at once terrifying and thrilling. Then, just like that, the light began to fade, retreating to a gentle glow. An ethereal hush descended among the villagers. "Know this," whispered the messenger, her eyes sparkling with otherworldly energy. "What unfolds will challenge you in ways unseen. But you are equipped with the strength to overcome." As her figure grew dimmer, the villagers stood in charged silence, breathing in the deeper meaning of their gathering. Would they truly emerge transformed, or would the doubts return to cloud their hearts? The mystery loomed larger than life, waiting to unravel their journey in divine fashion. What awaited them as they stepped out? Hearts intertwined. Would they embrace the unfolding truths that awaited beyond the horizon? The chapel had returned to a soft glow, and the air trembled with anticipation. Mary stood holding her neighbor's hands, feeling the warmth and energy radiating from their joined faith. A gentle breeze whispered through the open doors, carrying hints of autumn approaching, a reminder of the cycles of life they all shared. "Let us remember," Father Michael began, his voice low yet confident. "We are not alone in this journey. We stand here as witnesses, chosen to step forward in unwavering faith. Once we tread this path, we enter the realm where our dreams and hopes ooze from every crack in our hearts." The villagers nodded, a hum of agreement undulating throughout the group. Together, they felt the pulse of something larger, an incredible unity forged by trust, compassion, and purpose. Mary lifted her chin, a spark within her illuminating her soul. "What if we write down our intentions and fears? Let us craft messages of hope that can be shared with each other and with the universe." Her suggestion hung in the air like a melody waiting to be harmonized. One of the mothers spoke up, her voice clear as crystal. "Yes, we can tuck them into the chapel's wall, where they'll remain as a testament to our commitment." Excitement surged. They hurried to find scraps of paper and pens, each face lighting up as they began to articulate their dreams, desires, and even apprehensions, and unburdening pouring forth. The energy in the room shifted, as if each word penned was a seed planted, ready to bloom by their combined faith. As they finished writing, Father Michael gathered the messages. "These words represent the collective heartbeat of our community. They will not just vanish into the ether. Together, we shall bring them into our prayers. We invite the divine to weave our offerings into something miraculous." The fragrant breeze flowed again, rolling past them like a gentle wave, and Mary felt a deep sense of connection, as if the divine was caressing each intention, whispering that clarity and purpose awaited them. Even uncertainty can be a gift. Mary interjected, excitement bubbling within her. "When we share our fears, we empower each other. It's like carrying a burden on lighter shoulders together." Other villagers murmured in agreement, trepidation replaced by a growing assurance. They agreed because unity felt like a refuge against life's chaos. Here, they could blend their fears with their faith and transform doubts into profound strength. As the altar shimmered in the dim light, the once uncertain atmosphere shifted to one of quiet strength and expectancy. The messenger's earlier words echoed softly in Mary's mind, igniting her spirit. This was no longer just a moment, but the beginning of a journey. Then the moment felt right. "Now let us pray together," she called, and the group formed a circle, hands still intertwined. "Dear Lord," Mary started, her voice trembling with emotion, "we come as one, fearful yet brave, overwhelmed yet hopeful. We ask for guidance, for blessings to nourish our hearts, and to empower us to be the change we wish to see." As the prayer continued, warmth enveloped them, like a tender embrace. And just then, a collective gasp rippled through the circle, as a brilliant light flashed, an indescribable presence washing over them, filling each soul with courage and grace. When Mary opened her eyes, she saw bright flickers in everyone's eyes, and suddenly realized something profound had shifted. The feeling hung thick in the air, the beginnings of a transformation. What awaited them beyond this moment? Would they have the courage to step into the unknown and embrace the divine's call? With hearts racing and spirits soaring, the villagers held tightly, ready to unveil the beautiful tapestry of their shared journey. The brightness from the chapel pulsed like a heartbeat, each flicker resonating with a growing anticipation in Mary's chest. She could sense the gentle unraveling of a deeper mystery unfolding among them. The villagers, still intertwined in their circle, exhaled slowly, eyes wide with a mixture of awe and trepidation. "God is moving among us," Father Michael murmured, his gaze sweeping across the room. Each person felt it, a surge of possibility electrifying the air. He is inviting us to trust in his vision. We have given our fears and intentions. Now we must listen closely. As silence enveloped them, the gentle sway of the breeze whispered through the doors, carrying with it leaves that danced lightly on the wind. The air thickened, charged with energy, and Mary closed her eyes, trying to still her racing thoughts. Something incredible was about to happen. She could feel it deep down in her spirit. "I can hear it," one of the older villagers said softly, her voice trembling with the weight of understanding. "There is a new song rising within us." Mary opened her eyes, captivated. It was true. They had all come not just with requests, but with hearts ready to sing a new melody together. A sound began to rise, soft at first, then swelling in volume. The harmonies melded, lifting higher and higher. A crescendo of voices turned toward the divine. The melody became not just an expression, but a prayer in itself, a wave of gratitude and longing. As the last notes wrapped around them, the radiant light intensified, casting ethereal shadows across the chapel. Mary could see the tension in her neighbors' faces melt away. Each heart beat stronger, driven by a shared trust and the intoxicating hint of divine purpose knitting them closer. "Let us bring forth our gifts," Father Michael encouraged, his voice rising above the thrum of energy. "Every one of us has something precious to offer. In giving, we shall receive. In believing, we shall see." The villagers began to step forward, sharing their talents, music, dance, spoken word, and even the quiet wisdom of their lives. With each offering made, the air around them visibly shimmered. The chapel became a sacred space, a garden of vibrant soul blossoms nurtured by shared faith. Mary felt the weight of her own gifting stirring within her, a story she had carried for too long, a testimony waiting to be shared. "Can I?" She began hesitantly, but the words gained strength as she continued. "I want to share my journey of what it means to wait in faith." Each syllable felt charged, as though she was sharing a piece of herself with the divine. As she spoke, whispers rippled through the chapel. Tears of joy streamed down the faces of her friends and neighbors. They understood. They had tasted doubt, and they had savored hope, just as she had. They had all experienced the same silent wrestling with the unseen forces at play in their lives. The urgency of returning to their commitments surged like a rising tide. They were earnest now, reflecting on how their individual journeys wove together into a greater tapestry, one that was not yet complete. In that moment, Mary's heart quickened as she realized they were standing at the edge of transformation, a threshold filled with divine promise. But as they embraced this new reality together, questions began to bloom in her mind. What awaited them on the other side of this spiritual awakening? As they moved towards the rhythm of their offerings and the echo of their prayers, an unexpected hush fell over the chapel, as if the air itself was holding its breath in anticipation of what God was about to reveal. What miracles lay ahead for this community drawn together by faith? Thus, they stood, ready to embark on their newfound journey, not knowing the path that beckoned them, but eager to find out. A soft stillness descended upon the chapel, almost tangible in its intensity. The faces of the villagers glowed with anticipation, as if they each carried a fragment of the divine light igniting within the room. Mary's heart beat in time with this shared expectancy, a rhythm of hope that reverberated through her and around her. What came next felt monumental. Father Michael stood at the center, his presence exuding a comforting authority. He raised his hands, palms open, inviting the congregation to join him. Let us prepare our hearts and spirits for the transformation that is beginning. It is more than just our voices. It is our very lives that God desires to renew. The air shimmered, charged with possibility. Mary felt the depths of her soul stirring, awakening a longing that had lain dormant. She glanced at her neighbors, their eyes reflecting the same eagerness, the same yearning. What would happen if we truly allowed ourselves to be transformed? She wondered. Then, as if summoned by her unvoiced question, a soft glow began to fill the chapel. It started as a warm light at the altar, then slowly expanded, engulfing the congregation in a radiant embrace. Gasps surfaced among the villagers, but this was not fear, it was wonder, pure and unfiltered. "My people," Father Michael urged, his voice rising gently in the embrace of that divine glow. "Let your hearts be open to receive His grace. Allow yourselves to be washed anew in His love." The energy reached out, wrapping around each person, drawing them closer into a sacred unity. Mary closed her eyes, surrendering to the moment. She could feel the walls around her heart begin to dissolve. The burdens she had carried, the doubts, the fear of judgment, the weariness of waiting felt lighter, as if lifted by unseen hands. In this moment, she dared to seek the deeper truth of her experience. "I am renewed," she whispered softly, letting the words reverberate within her. Instantly, the sound of her voice transformed into a prayer, echoing back from the walls. "I am renewed. I am healed. I am loved." As she spoke, she noticed other villagers joining in, their unique voices weaving strands of faith into the atmosphere. Each declaration seemed to build upon the last, creating a powerful tapestry of acknowledgement of hopes revived, burdens released, and spirits set free. But in the midst of this shared glory, an unexpected wave of uncertainty crashed over Mary. What was God's purpose for them as a collective? Would they truly follow through with this newfound awakening? What challenges would lie ahead? Father Michael's voice cut through her spiraling thoughts. As we stand at this threshold, we're called to reflect on not only what we desire, but what He desires for us. His words fell like gentle seeds in fertile soil, taking root within the hearts of those gathered. In surrendering, He unveils paths we could never envision. Mary's spirit soared with hope. But as clarity surged, so did the questions. She felt an urgency to seek more, to unravel the truths waiting patiently to be revealed as that heavenly glow enveloped them in intimacy. They were invited to lean deeper into faith. Yet with each revelation came the realization that discomfort and trials would surely accompany their journey. And just as the depth of this insight settled in, the light surged once more, brighter than ever before, revealing new dimensions yet unexplored. It was a divine invitation, the call to venture beyond fear and embrace the vast possibilities of faith. With breath held tight, the villagers gathered their courage. Before them lay the dawning of something transformative. But what would it ask of them? They prepared to step forward, hearts on fire with divine fervor, ready for the road ahead, which was unfolding like petals of a powerful bloom. But the growing shadows hinted at what trials awaited them. What was God preparing to reveal on this journey of transformation? The answer lingered just beyond their reach, beckoning with an ethereal whisper. Dare you to believe? As the sun rose over St. Mary's Hollow, its golden light poured through the chapel windows, illuminating the faces filled with hope and anticipation. Mary felt a warmth flowing within her, merging with an undeniable energy that buzzed in the air. It was the dawn of their divine transformation, and she could almost taste the sweet promise hovering like the morning mist. Father Michael stood at the front, his voice calm yet powerful. Today, we stand together as one. Today is not merely about witnessing change, but about being the change. His words reverberated with conviction, urging them deeper. Mary looked around, her eyes meeting those of her neighbors. Each face glimmered with newfound strength, and she felt a collective heartbeat harmonizing with hers, a rhythm of purpose that transcended their individual concerns. Let us remember our intentions, she proposed, voice breaking through the hushed awe. The gathering shifted, nods echoing her suggestion. What do we want to claim in this transformation? The congregation began to share their desires openly: healing, hope, family restoration. Each voice unfolded like a blossoming flower. As their dreams wove together, Mary realized they were affirming their trust in God's presence. A soft whisper danced through the room, brushing against the fabric of faith. Feel that? Whispered Rachel beside Mary. It's like the air is alive. I can feel it too, Mary replied, her spirit soaring. The light brightened, merging with every spoken hope, every shared fear. It was a divine reaction, an invitation for them to be witnesses to an unfolding miracle. Father Michael stepped forward, his eyes glistening. Now is the time to affirm our unity. With every breath we take, let us call forth what we desire. He raised his arms, filling the space with divine energy. The chapel filled with fervent outcries as villagers poured forth their prayers. Heal our land, restore families, ignite our dreams. The intensity ignited the sacred atmosphere further. Mary felt an overwhelming wave of clarity wash over her, a bubbling confidence she never expected. We are the chosen, she cried, her heart pulsating with faith. Together, we can create a wave of love that will resonate beyond these walls. As if on cue, a radiant light burst forth from the altar, illuminating every heart. This is your moment. The messenger's voice echoed, washing over them like a refreshing river. Your lives are a testament to divine love. Your transformation is here. Hands reached forth and lifted toward the glowing presence. The light embraced them, filling every crevice of doubt. The air vibrated with energy, a palpable reminder that hope was alive, pulsing within each heart. Behold, the messenger continued, you are not just spectators. You are participants in this divine journey. Embrace the mission anew. Tears sparkled in Mary's eyes, and laughter mixed with adoration among the villagers. They were discovering their strength collectively, and with each passing moment, the uncertainties started to fade. Father Michael turned to the congregation, his tone grave yet gentle. As we embrace this transformation, know that challenges will arise. They're part of the journey. A hush followed, the gravity of truth settling into every heart. But fear not, for we are equipped with the divine love that will guide us through. In that sacred silence, Mary's fears floated away like fallen leaves in the breeze. Together, we can combat the shadows, she thought. Everyone exchanged glances of determination, solidifying a pledge in faith. Just then, the vibrant colors of dawn broke through the chapel, bathing everyone in warmth. Rise as one, the messenger proclaimed, and hearts surged with renewed courage. Mary clutched her cross tightly, drawing strength from its familiar weight. The scriptures resonated in her mind. Where 2 or 3 gather in my name, There I am with them. Yes, Mary exclaimed, feeling the fire in her spirit intensify. We are called together in this. We will not let external challenges dim our light. She could hardly breathe as emotion swelled. They would embrace whatever came next. As the congregation united in prayer, they created a sacred circle filled with palpable love. The light swirled around them, amplifying their collective dreams and urging them to rise as carriers of hope. And our spirit, as one, will reverberate through the world, Father Michael declared. Together, they felt invincible as faith intertwined through their souls, creating an unfathomable bond. Then, a gentle breeze swept through the chapel, a soothing reminder of the presence of the divine. The message was clear. Transformation awaited. As they stood, hearts interconnected, ready to unveil their destinies, Mary closed her eyes, a smile stretching across her face. What a beautiful tapestry we are weaving, she thought. The uncertainties of tomorrow started to dissolve, replaced by excitement for what lay ahead. Yes, they were the chosen. Yes, they were ready to carry forth the message of love, casting away fear and opening their hearts wide to the infinite potential waiting to be grasped. When at last they stepped outside into the fresh morning air, they knew there was no turning back. This is only the beginning, said Rachel, laughter bubbling in her voice. There was a determined light in her eye, a divine spark igniting in the hearts of the faithful. In the crisp autumn air, their voices rang out like a symphony, embracing all the possibilities that God had laid before them. St. Mary S. Hollow was alive with hope. Their journey no longer a question of what's next, but a glorious affirmation of we are ready. And the world beyond listened, waiting with bated breath for the manifestation of their faith. Now, this is your time to step forward. You need to subscribe to the channel immediately to not miss the next exclusive faith stories that will stir your soul and move your heart. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep this divine message flowing. Each click matters. Comment below with your reactions and testimonies about this powerful ending your voice is a part of this journey. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this divine transformation unfold. Don't wait even one more second. Only true servants of God understand the importance of supporting this channel through these actions. Let us spread the light together,